Hey there, welcome to my channel Perceptive Truth, where every layer you uncover changes how you see everything. My name is Jennifer, and I'm a life coach and a traditional astrologer. And I'm recording this video on Tuesday, March 31st, 2026. And by the time you see this video, it'll be in April. So I'm hoping to get it out tomorrow. So tomorrow will be April 1st. Happy April Fools. But the first astrology that's going to happen in April is a beautiful Libra moon, also known as, I believe, the pink moon. So it's such a lovely way to start out the month, because as we continue on through the month, things are going to get a little bit dicey and hairy, and things, the way things are going right now as far as the war in Iran and everything, as well as like the oil and gas industry and the markets going up and down. So, things are going to get a little, but I would say, let me show you the astrology real quick. So right here, you can see that the Libra moon, full moon, will be at 12 degrees, 31 minutes Libra. So this lovely moon will be all about relationships, beauty, harmony, which, is something we need right now. I kind of don't know, if that'll mean anything as far as the war, because like I said, as I'll continue explaining more here in a minute, we're going to have a stellium we already kind of have a stellium in Aries right here, but it's going to be a confluence of all of these, not the node, but Mercury, Mars itself, and then, Venus continues on in Taurus. So it's going to be a lot going on. And then I believe we have a new moon in Aries. So I'll show that to you here in a little bit. But so I was just wanting to explain this one real quick. And it's the opposite of Aries. So it's kind of bringing in, how do we change this to full screen. How do we experience, right now, global events are, teetering on the brink of, who knows, possibly World War III. But as far as your personal life, how can you bring in the opposite of this crazy, hot, heated war energy? And that's what Libra is the opposite sign of Aries, where Aries is absolutely sovereign, on its own, freedom. It does what it wants, and it doesn't have to ask for permission. Can be very, as far as the energy, in a bad way, can be narcissistic. Now, I'm not saying all Aries are narcissistic. I know some very lovely Aries people who are not like that at all. But if you're in the shadow side of Aries, it can be a very just me. I only care about me and getting mine. So now that we're going to experience that full moon in Libra tomorrow, it's kind of how can we approach things together? How can we look at things in a better way, in a more harmonic way, so that, Aries doesn't take over? So I would just say, enjoy April Fools. Not that the full moon is, fake or anything, but, it's April Fool's Day here in, I don't know, I think it's everywhere. But enjoy that moon, the full moon in Libra, and it'll be very nice and a good energy. As we go on in the month, before I continue on, so I just wanted to say, I'm going to also speak about the medical astrology, things we might be feeling in our physical body, and possibly some herbal allies that can kind of help us through this situation, because, it's not easy. It's this crazy kind of, in your face energy, and, that can be kind of hard. And so I just want to introduce or at least explain a few herbal allies that I'm using or will be using in this time because, you know, if you're watching my astrology channel, you've probably watched other astrology channels. And so you know that this month is like this whole year is going to carry a lot of crazy energy, but April is going to have like a climax energy. I'm not a psychic all the way, so I can't really say as to what, but I would say it probably has to do with the war or either the economy. But let me go ahead and show you on AstroSeek real quick so you can see what I'm talking about as far as this Aries stellium that we're fixing to have. So it's easier if I switch it over here. Okay, let's see. It begins, move that up a little bit. Let's see, here we go. April, there it is. Okay, let me switch this today. All right, so I believe it starts on the 15th, but I will make sure. Oh, it doesn't let me do it that way. Okay. Yeah, because look, on April 14th, we still have the moon in Pisces and Mercury on the 29th degree, the anaretic 29 degree of Pisces. So that's kind of like our last day to enjoy this last bit of Piscean energy other than the nodes, the north node right here. And, Mercury being in Pisces this whole time, I would kind of like explain it as energy where you might have been more open to like the psychic energies. Maybe you've been having dreams. I know I've had some interesting dreams. And I was wanting to share my dream. I don't know. I may think about it. If I don't share it today, I may share it in another video because it was kind of interesting. And I don't know if that's what like that dream was trying to foretell. But anyways, enough about me. I'm just trying to say that Mercury in Pisces is a very open, fluid energy that can kind of get you in feeling into the other realm where you might have had more psychic abilities or more in tune to that kind of stuff. And it being in the 29th degree for just for a little bit, you're kind of ramping up maybe those psychic feelings or your spidey senses, just to say the least. But okay, so that's April 14th, and then we switched one day, and here we are, that insane Aries stellium right here. So Mercury switches to Aries. The moon is in Aries. That is Neptune. There's Mars, Saturn. And it's kind of hard to see, but these are all still in the very beginning right here. And then you have the later bits right here, which is the Sun and Chiron in Aries. And then, so let me explain this little piece first of kind of what I think might be happening. And then we're going to have another transit that's going to be monumental, especially here for the United States. And we'll get to that here in just a moment. So, as you can tell, like I said, all of these planets making a stellium in Aries. And, it's enough that we've already had a lot of Aries energy, the fire horse energy in, what was that, February, I believe. And then the Aries, Saturn and Neptune conjoining in Aries. So this is a very cardinal, Aries, martial energy. And as you can tell, we've already gotten into a war, and it's not over, so we are going to be feeling this. And with all of this energy in Aries, like, I want to say with all my heart that I wish it was just something. Let me change this to full screen real quick and I'll come back to this chart. I wish I could say that, it's all about, and that's, okay, let me gather my words. It's not to say that individually this energy can be very motivating and it can like pick you up and move you forward, because that's what cardinal energy is. And I don't know if where you live is kind of like where I live, where in springtime we have such intense wind that, like, I remember one year an acquaintance of mine, the winds were so bad when spring came in that a rock from a business next to her literally launched from like the ground from that business and landed on her roof, where she had ended up having to get some roof repair after that. So like, that is how you can view Aries. It is fast. It can motivate you. It can, light a fire under your ass, in other words. So, individually, I would say if you can pick up on that energy, try your best. Try your best to get off of your butt and do that thing that you haven't done in a while, okay? But because we're not just individuals living in our own little worlds, we live in a global world. This right now, with all of that martial energy in Aries, it's, to the best of my knowledge, without really being able to foretell the future, it is something that's gonna, I would say, just in my opinion, okay, and this is for entertainment purposes only, something having to do with the war, something that we haven't seen to this date, something that may cause the U.S. to be more involved than maybe what our president and his administration had initially wanted. Because as of right now, today, I have heard on the news, like in the independent news that I watch, that he's wanting out. He's not wanting to do this anymore. He wants to talk about other things. But that's kind of not how it goes when this involves kind of like the whole world, So I would say it might be an escalation. I don't know. I don't want to get as crazy and be like, oh, it's definitely going to be a nuke or something like that. I hope to God it's not. But, this next month, we really need to prepare ourselves for something that might be coming that, at least for our generation, we have not witnessed or experienced, and it might be scary and in our faces. So I just want to be telling you this as much as possible so that you can prepare. Okay. So also, when you think about it, just in case it's something crazy, where I think back to like COVID and everything, where like I remember going to the store and everything was gone. So if it's something like that, if you get a chance this month, please just go get some extra supplies, do what you need to do, get some extra food, water, anything like that. Just to be sure. Okay. So this crazy stellium, let's go back and look at it real quick. Yeah. So this is in our face. And that's all I really want to say about that. For now, I'll get into the medical astrology part here in a minute. So there is one more transit that will be life-changing this month for the U.S. And let me go ahead and go through that real quick so you can see. I think let me see if it's 1 week. Oh no, okay.
Are you recording?
Alright. Sorry about that. My son just came into the room. Okay, let me get back to where I was. Oh, okay, I'm trying to get to the next transit. 23, 24th. You can kind of see Venus has entered Gemini. I believe it's the 25th. Yep, here it is. All right. So, on the 25th of April, Uranus is at 0 degrees of Gemini. And this is one of those transits that's life-changing, especially here for the US. So it's kind of like, if you kind of think about it, us astrologers made a big deal about Saturn and Neptune entering Aries and then conjoining at 0 degrees Aries, because that's a really big deal. It hasn't happened, at least the Neptune and Saturn conjoining at 0 degrees hadn't happened for like 6,000 years. Okay, so that was a pretty momentous for everybody. Now this one is a little bit more momentous for the United States. And that's because Uranus entering Gemini is another, how would you say, like a flashpoint showing how every time this transit has happened, we have been in a war. So obviously, the Revolutionary War, the Civil War, and World War II. And I believe that is the last war considered where this happened. And then now this is happening on the 25th of April. Okay, let me switch that back. Okay. So this is where it's kind of like, to be honest, and as an astrologer, is to say there's something that's going to happen that's going to be, maybe warlike. Like I said, I don't really know exactly what. I don't know if it's going to be something that happens within the United States. And then also, like, it could be a few more degrees into it. So I kind of don't know if it'll be exactly on the 25th that we see something. But if it is, like, I'll definitely come back on and talk about it. But considering that we're going to have that lovely stellium in Aries, it kind of seems like it might actually be something. Like, I know we're already in this war, but it seems like something that, like I said, like accelerate what's going on. So I'm just saying this so that you guys can be prepared. And like I said earlier, make sure you have extra things just in case. I know I have certainly gotten some extra stuff just knowing about these transits and everything. So I'm not trying to scare anybody, but forewarned is forearmed. So just think of it that way, okay? Plan for the worst, but hope for the best. All right, so I next kind of want to talk about the medical astrology part. And that is just to kind of mention how Aries is in that cardinal sign. So, real quick before I mention that, so this is going to be hitting hard. It's that cardinal cross, okay? So that's not an easy one to go through. And when I say cardinal cross, just in case you don't know, so it's all happening in Aries. That means it's opposing anything in Libra and squaring either Capricorn or Cancer. Okay, so if you have any planets in either of those signs, you may be experiencing this a little bit more harshly. So I myself have a stellium in Capricorn. And just to kind of explain like stelliums, it's like when that energy comes in, when all those transits happen, and let's say like you have an Aries sun or Aries moon or something like that. Or in any of those signs, okay? So like let's say you were born on the 15th when all of that's going to happen. So when something happens like that, like you feel it consequentially like the entire time. So like me having my Capricorn stellium, like when Saturn was going through Capricorn, it hit like most of my oh, sorry for that banging if you heard that. My son was knocking on the bathroom door or something. I don't know. Anyways, when Saturn was going, oh, sorry, I got sidetracked. Anyways, all right. So when Saturn and Pluto is what I wanted to say was going through Capricorn a few years back, it hit like almost all of my personal planets, except for Mars. And then I have a first house Capricorn, so it hit my ascendant as well. And let me tell you, it's not an easy go. So like anytime you have a stellium or a stellium of planets in like one sign, like you're experiencing all that energy all at once. And like with the longer transpersonal planets like Neptune, like that's going to happen for 14 years or so. So that one, like, it is important. Trust me. I have done so many videos now to this point just about Neptune and like Neptune and Aries because I find it so fascinating. I have Neptune, personally, I have Neptune in my first house. So like I feel that energy very deeply all the time. But that means like all these planets that are converging in Aries, like we are definitely feeling that martial energy, that like severing energy. And then if you're a day in like a traditional astrology, you have your sect, which means you have a day chart or a night chart. So if you have a day chart like I do, Mars is your malefic. And so like depending, it could affect you in that way as well. So just things to think about. And then, like I said, the cardinal cross. So if you have any planets in Capricorn like I do, so all these planets are squaring my first house and they're squaring. So, I mean, that's what makes it difficult, right? Because think about somebody who might have planets in all of those signs, right? So like, let's say you have Aries sun, Venus, Libra, and then like a descendant in Capricorn like me or something. And then like other personal planets in Cancer, like Mercury or something. Like when something hits that axis, like you're going to feel it all the way around. Like, so just be on the lookout for that if you have any cardinal signs: Libra, Capricorn, Cancer, and then of course Aries. So also, if you know people with those signs, just be kind to us, please. We're experiencing a lot. This is not easy energy. So be as kind as possible. Okay, but so now before I end this video, because it's already like 25 minutes in or so, the medical astrology part. So in medical astrology, Aries, which I think for obvious reasons, is going to be like the most important energy right now. But the cardinal cross or the cardinal axis kind of represents the endocrine system. And so the endocrine system is more like like your hormones, the hypothalamus, the adrenals, okay, I think I already said hormones. So off the top of my head, that's what I can think about right now. So, but just know it's your endocrine system. And sometimes when your endocrine system, and your thyroid, I believe your thyroid as well. So when your endocrine system is overworked, overstressed, that's where you can start having issues like autoimmune issues or something. Not saying that this is going to cause an autoimmune issue, but I'm just saying like beware of the stress that this might cause on the endocrine system, especially if you are on that cardinal, spectrum axis in the astrology chart. And then next, Aries represents the head, but it also represents the adrenals and the parasympathetic nervous system. So for those who don't know, and just a quick disclaimer, I am not a doctor. I do practice herbology, but just know that I'm not your personal herbologist. So when I speak to like these kinds of things and the herbal allies that can help, like, do your own research, take what I say, see what works for you, leave the rest, and always talk to your doctor or a professional. Like, never just take what I say as, doctrine or whatever. Do your own research, of course, and pay attention to what your body needs and what it doesn't, okay? So, just that quick disclaimer. And also, this is for entertainment purposes only. It's just educational. So the sympathetic nervous system is ruled by Aries, and that is the stress response, like the fight, flight, or freeze stress response that happens to you when something intense happens. And the adrenals. Aries also rules over the adrenals. So with whatever's going to be happening this month, just be aware that it may be very stressful, and to take your time and take care of yourself in this time as well. And so there are some good herbal allies. And when I say herbal allies, it's like, herbs that you can take, like teas you can drink, tinctures, you can buy. I don't know. I think you would still need more time. Like if you were creating a tincture right now, you would have had to do it like last month. So, or longer, because it takes like 6 weeks, I believe, for the tincture to like fully make the tincture herb. So, but you can definitely buy some if you can. I take like a stress response one. So because I have like that, that Capricorn stellium, I get a lot of anxiety. So I've taken herbs for a while now that kind of helps me calm down. And so some of the ones you may want to think about are like adaptogens. A really good one as far as like for adrenal or adaptogens that you might need for like feeling a lot of stress and maybe your adrenals feel worn out would be like ashwagandha. Ashwagandha is a really good herbal ally that you can take to help calm down the endocrine system, calm down the adrenals, and calm down that stress response that you may be having. And then so another type of herb you can take are called nervines. And so nervines, just in case you're not understanding what I'm saying, like it's spelled Nerv as in like victory, Ines, nervines. And those, are also for like your nervous system to help you calm down if you're having like anxiety or you're feeling too worked up or stressed out. So a good like catch-all nervine would be like chamomile. Well, like I said earlier, just beware because some people are allergic to chamomile. I mean, some people are allergic to a lot of different herbs. So you need to know like what you're allergic to or not. But usually chamomile is a real gentle herb that you can drink in tea form and tincture form if you are able to buy some. Another nervine is valerian root. And now see that one, some people, like I love valerian root. It calms me down and it helps me get rest and sleep. But some people actually have the opposite effect. It actually makes them more nervous and like feeling more stressed out. So if you've never taken valerian root, I would just say take something, maybe like a tea or something, and see how it affects you. But do it at night when you're not like with machinery or anything. Like don't take valerian root in the morning when you're fixing to go drive to work or anything like that. Valerian root's a very relaxing herb, so just keep that in mind. Let's see, another one would be lemongrass. Lemongrass is also a really good, abundant, sourced herb that is really calming. And was it lemongrass? Now I have to look that up. Give me just a second, and then let me look that up real quick. Lemongrass. I didn't put notes for myself today, so I was kind of like, yeah, it is. This is just what Google says. Lemongrass acts as a gentle sedative nervine traditionally used to reduce anxiety, calm the nervous system, and improve sleep. So I take like this mixture that has like lemongrass. It has, what else does it have? I think it has like passion flower. So just think about something like that to help calm your nervous system. I always feel like Earth supplied us with these herbs to kind of help us through these things we experience as humans on an everyday to day basis. So these are just things to consider, from the medical astrology to this, just the regular astrology, looking at the transits and everything, and some companion herbs that you can take to help you feel better. I know I'm going to be taking them. Like I said, I get anxiety, so taking these herbs, helped me a whole lot. And, as this channel progresses, I'll share more of my story and how I ended up getting into herbology and how it's really helped me, and how medical astrology has helped me. So, like I said, forewarned is forearmed. I think as scary as this time may be, I feel like it's better to know that this is going to happen and we know about it. We can prepare. We can prepare ourselves, our family, our loved ones. And just, we're living through history right now, and it's a intense and at times very scary moment in time. So, just hang in there. And also, one thing I love about astrology is that as intense as all of these aspects show, like, it will end. Eventually it will end. And, that's what kind of keeps me feeling okay. Because I know it's scary, and this whole year has been crazy. Last year, the last few years, even including COVID, like that was a very intense time for a lot of people. And I even lost loved ones to COVID. So, but eventually, like the astrology, as it shows that, the stars are like a living, breathing map for us all. And, eventually these transits will pass and we will find a way to get past it and, you know, work through these things together as a collective. So just know that it will end. Right now, it is a little bit tough, but, you know, as time goes, you just know that it will pass and, hang in there. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and let you go for now. I hope to see you later. Please subscribe, comment, share, like, any of those things to help my channel out. I'd really appreciate it. And I will talk to you lovelies later. All right. Bye.